When the Maharishi decided to take TM to the world, one of his close advisors said, this is going to cost a lot of money. Where are you going to get the money for this? Where's it going to come from? He said, wherever it is right now. And you know, if you can burn that idea in your mind, whenever you need something, it's already here. You just have to get in harmony with it. And when you get in harmony with it, everything starts happening. When you go to leave something, the only thing you can measure is what you're giving up. You can't measure what you're going to get. I thought that was a pretty interesting concept. When you walk away from something, all you can measure is what you're giving up. You cannot measure what you're going to get. It's learning simple little things that make a great big difference. You want to take whatever's big and make it small. Start reducing it to the ridiculous. You got to get rid of this fear jazz, because fear is just the improper use of your imagination. That's really all it is. And if the idea scares you, you know real well you're on the right track. See, if the idea you're working with is comfortable, you're going sideways. There's no growth involved. It's the stepping into the unknown that causes the fear. We don't want to do that. And then, because we don't want to do it, we've got to justify why we're not doing it. Well, the paradigm just starts pumping ideas into your head of why you shouldn't do it. And you start thinking, what would she think? What would he think? What would they say? What if this happened? What if that happened? Well, what if it did? You've got to be prepared to make some shifts. And understand this. If your results are stuck, you're stuck. You're mentally stuck. And you've got to change that. You've got to start doing things a little different. I have learned this from a good doctor, what I'm sharing with you. There's no trick to it. I am not some mental giant or genius. I'm an ordinary guy just like you. Well, you've got a perfect memory. There's nothing wrong with your memory. It's probably weak. Exercise it, it becomes strong. Exercise your imagination, it'll become strong. You have no idea what you can earn. And don't get hung up on money. I don't really care that much about money. Now, most people think I do because I talk about it a lot. Get to the point where you're looking at money as just a product, and you can create the product. It's the manifestation of thinking. And you've got to be prepared to invest in yourself. I'm always investing in myself. I honestly believe I'm the best investment in the world for me. There's no end to what I'm capable of earning. And if there's no end to what I'm capable of earning, there's no end to what you're capable of earning. None of us are aware of what we're capable of doing. And we let our present conditions control our thinking. Yet it's a dumb thing to do. Why do we do it? Well, because we've been conditioned to do it. Our parents did it. Why did they do it? Because their parents did it. Why did they do it? Because their parents did it. And then the school system. What's the school system? It's just a bunch of parents. That's really what it is. Somebody else's parents teaching your kids. And so they're getting the same thing at school pretty well as they get at home. Does this mean they're bad people? It doesn't mean they're bad people at all. They just don't know, and they don't know they don't know. The whole system is designed to hold you down. Why is it that 3% of the population make it very big, 97% nice people, smart people are stuck? See, it really doesn't make any sense. I committed to study this material every day and follow proven direction. My income began to change. And what did it take? It took discipline. And I was taught very early when I first got this, that discipline is simply the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. And if you cannot give yourself a command and follow it, you are stuck. Make no mistake about it. Anything I say won't really mean very much. There is absolutely no way I can change you. Matt changes Matt. Kayam changes Kayam. Sandy changed Sandy. Bob changes Bob. No one can change you. But you can change it, and no one even can guess at what you're capable of doing. A habit is an idea that's fixed in your subconscious mind that you automatically express without giving any conscious thought. I had formed the habit of doing exactly what people that were getting the results I wanted to get until they found out they were lying or they didn't know what they were talking about. He said, you do exactly what I tell you until you find out I'm lying or that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I just made up my mind. I'm not going to judge what he says. I'm just going to do exactly what he said. Some of the things I was doing was so far out relative to what we were doing, we being all the people I mixed with, relative, friends. I got a sticker in the back, came from Vanderwall, says the world would stop if it were run by the people who said it can't be done. It's not an easy thing to do. You're going to find out, I'm not going to lie to you. You will probably from time to time think I'm arrogant, but I'm really not. I'm just very definite in my belief system. And I believe it because I've tested it and the results are there. Where's the energy come? It doesn't come from anywhere. It's already here. You don't get energy, you release energy. Desire is the triggering mechanism to release energy. When you've got a strong desire for a particular end, you will have the energy to do whatever it is to do. This idea of taking it easy is for other people. What is? Why do you want to take it easy?
All right, guys. Welcome to Mornings with Nano, YouTube and Instagram edition. I am so happy to be back with you guys. I know I've been on the road, on tour, and we haven't got a chance to jump on a couple of sessions recently. But I'm happy always to be back on these sessions and be able to share with you guys valuable information. Just to catch you guys up a little bit, as you guys know, I recently started my tour back in Miami on Thursday. Tour has been, tour is always a little bit hectic for me because being the fact that I have to lead the tours, take flights, be in city to city. Sometimes it kind of affects the morning calls because I got to fly out in the morning, and in the morning is when I do the morning session. So I tend to miss the morning calls, which I usually miss, but I don't really tour a lot throughout the year, so it's okay for me to miss these sessions here and there. But it's been great. We started the tour up in Miami. We have a lot of solid turnouts at each city. Miami, we had about 40 people at the Miami event. Orlando, we had about anywhere between 30 to 35 people. Today in Charlotte, we're expecting over 70 people at the event in Charlotte. Charlotte will probably be our biggest room in attendance. We're expecting about 60 in Pennsylvania for the PA event in Allentown. And then we're expecting another 50 or so people out in St. Louis, potentially a couple of more as well. So overall, just a great tour. And for anybody that's wondering, why are you on tour? And what's the purpose of this tour? So the name of the tour is called Proximity to Prosperity. And what we wanted to do with the tour was we wanted to take the proximity of leadership, right? The girls that I'm on tour with, the women, they're extremely valuable, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but I know I've told you guys this in the past. 70% of my business is women, all right? And some of the top leaders and the top earners in my business, the ones that are educating, the ones that are making money, traveling, doing, etc., they're all women, right? So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the proximity of that leadership, and I wanted to go visit some of our top markets that we have here within the United States: Miami, Orlando, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, St. Louis, etc., and just be able to hit up these cities and bring all the value that we have, all the trading, all the crypto, all the branding, all the social media, all the mindset, all the leadership. Bring it to a city near you and introduce not only people within the community to more, but also if there's people that are outside the community that want to gain access to a community, how they can learn how to do that. So if you guys are wondering why I'm on tour, that's the reason why. We're bringing proximity to other people's cities so that they can learn, they can elevate, and they can become better versions of themselves. And it has gone amazing so far. The tour has been extremely successful, and I'm super excited. We're still wrapping it up. I'm still going to be on tour for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, there may not, as a matter of fact, there isn't a morning call tomorrow. I can tell you guys that right now. I'm traveling tomorrow morning, so we will be back Thursday for another episode. I'll probably only be able to do this week. I'll probably only be able to do Tuesday and Thursday this week because the rest of the week I will be traveling. So just wanted to give you guys an update for those that I know are consistently hopping on. Next week, I'm back home full force, 5 days a week, etc. But this week, due to tour and travels in between, I'll probably only be able to do Tuesday and Thursday because Wednesday and Friday I will be traveling since we're only doing 2 days in each city. So every 2 days we're traveling. All right, guys. So just wanted to give you guys an update. But with that being said, let's get started with today's call. Real quick, put a 3 in the chat if you guys are ready to take some notes on today's call. I got some extremely valuable information to share with all of you guys right here. Let me just take a sip of some Alani to get some energy. We've been running on no sleep, guys. Today was like one of the second time I got a chance to get some sleep in. So I need my daily lessons. I feel you, Kelsey. Trust me. I be missing my family. I be missing you guys. I'm like, man, I miss my family in the morning. Because, it's like anything else. The moment you get used to anything, you get used to jumping on the call. Like I always tell you guys, these calls aren't a burden to me. It's not like I'll be like, oh, man, I got to do mornings. And then like, I look forward to these calls. So like when I can't do these calls, I'm like, man, I feel bad because I'm like, what if somebody wanted to hear the message today and now they just got to watch a recording, right? I'm like, man, I wish I could hop on, but I know that you guys obviously take advantage of when we are live. And when I'm not live, please, guys, watch the recordings. There's so many recordings that I'm sure you guys haven't watched that you guys will be able to get value from. But enough of the small talk. Let's get into a good session for today. So today I want to talk about, what separates high achievers from the rest, right? Let's talk about what separates high achievers from the rest. And I want to get deep into this, right? Because right now, obviously, it's October 21st. We got about 70 days left of the year. And right now, the people that are going to accomplish amazing things for the rest of the year and the people that are going to go into 2026 with the right state of mind are the ones with the high achieving mindset, right? I want to teach you guys what it takes to be a high achiever, because I know that everybody here going into 2026, what you want to do is you want to start setting yourself up with the characteristics, the traits, the leadership, and everything that a high achiever has, so that going into this next year, you're not going to go in as just a regular achiever or a below average achiever. You're going to go into this next season of your life as a high achiever. But in order for us to do that, we got to identify what a high achiever looks like. And that's what I want to break down to every single one of you guys, all right? So on today's call, at the top of your paper, I want you guys to write this down. Here's your title: The 5 Psychological Traits that Separate High Achievers. I'm going to go over the 5 psychological traits that separate high achievers, right? Let me just copy and paste this, all right? Because real quick, if you want to be a high achiever, can you type that in the chat box for me? High achiever. Type high achiever in the chat box for me if you want to be a high achiever. You want to be somebody that accomplishes a lot of success, that does everything that they say that they're going to do. They travel, they invest, they make a lot of money, they do everything that they say that they're going to do, right? A high achiever is somebody that is producing results. But remember, the results is just a reflection of the way that the person thinks. It all starts in the thinking. Remember, I always teach you guys this. It's called the TARE method. You could call it TARE. You could call it TEAR. TEAR. All right. High achievers are getting the results. All right. TEAR. They're getting the results. But remember, in order for you to get the results at the R, you got to be taking the proper actions with A. In order for you to be taking the proper actions, the E is your emotions. Your emotions got to be in the right place. All right. And in order for your emotions to be in the right place, all right, we got to make sure that the T, the thoughts, thank you, Femi, for dropping that for us. right? The thoughts got to be in the right place, which is the what? The psychological side of things. If you guys see in the chat, Femi dropped it for us. Thoughts control emotions. Emotions determine actions. Actions determine results. The way you know if somebody is a high achiever or not is because of their results. That's how you know. That's how we identify, yo, that guy's a high achiever. He gets the results. But the reason that person gets the results is because they're taking the proper actions, their emotions are in alignment, and their thoughts are in the right place. So that's what I want to teach you guys right now. The 5 psychological traits that separate high achievers. All right, let's get right into this. Let's go to number 1. What is the number 1 psychological trait that separates high achievers? Number 1 is an unshakable self-belief. Unshakable self-belief. Write this down. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof. There's a word there that I really want you guys to identify. Listen to the quote one more time that I'm saying, and I want you guys to think about what's the word that I am looking for in this statement that is so powerful. And the word is not believe. Listen to it again. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof. What's the word I'm looking for there that is so powerful? Let me know in the chat box. I'm going to repeat it again. Listen to it. High achievers believe they can. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof. What do you guys think? What do you think is that word that I'm looking for? In that, and it's not belief. It's not belief. Okay, I'm just looking here. Let me see. Let me see who got it. I think like only 2 people got it so far. It's not can. The word is long. The word is long. But Nano, why long? Long before there's proof, which means that Queen B, yeah, you said it. You were the first one that said it, and you were the first one that got it right. Long before. Why long, Nano? Why the word long? Well, guess what? Sometimes it takes a long time for things to happen. It takes a long time for you to plant the seed and receive the fruit tomorrow. It's going to take you guys a long time for you to get to where you have to get to. So, but listen to the quote again, though. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof, which means we got to be believing now. Even though you may not have proof, because we all say, hey, we want to be millionaires. We want to retire our families. We want to do more. We want to travel more. We want to give more. All right. But we got to remember, like I've always been teaching you guys, we're asking for these things, but there's also a process that comes with those things. And let me ask you guys a question. Is that process long or is it short? Is that process, in order for us to get to where we want to go to, is it long or is it short? All right. For the most part, it's going to be long. Is there people that have short processes? Yes. But majority of the time, and David, I know you know, Mikey, I know you know, Ricardo, I know you know, Isabel, Danielle, Rain, Kay, all of us, we all know it's a long process. So that's why that's the word that means a lot to me. But it's not just the word that means a lot to me. It's what is said before the word. So the drama's in the details, guys. Yes, the word long is the special part, but it's what's said before it. What is said? Let's see who's been taking notes. What's the first part? What are the words that are said before the word long? For those that took notes, what did I say before the word long? What was the quick statement I said? Let me see who can type it in the chat box for us. I want to see where my note takers are. High achievers. There you go, Jessica. There you go, Rich. There you go. High achievers believe they can. So this is important for all of us to understand. High achievers believe they can long before there's proof, which means that we are in a state in our lives, all of us, and this is even for me, right? We have hundreds of people on the call right now. We are all high achievers. When I asked you guys at the beginning of the call, yo, who wants to be a high achiever? We all put high achievers in the chat. Well, in order for you to have the traits of a high achiever, you got to be believing in yourself now more than ever. Unshakable self-belief, which means you believe so much in yourself. Even though the bank account is not the way that you want it to, even though your body doesn't look the way that you want it to, even though you haven't made the sales, even though you're still living at your parents' house, even though you don't know how you're going to pay the bills at the end of the month, it doesn't matter that even though you know that there's no proof, you still have an unshakable belief in yourself. That is the key. Because when I was broke, when I had no money in the bank, when my bank account looked like gas prices, when I was living in my parents' house, when I wasn't able to get to where I wanted to, where I couldn't pay for bills, where I couldn't take my relationship at the time, I couldn't even take my girlfriend out at the time to a dinner because I couldn't afford it, where I was still asking my mom for money, when I was broke, my account was overdrafted, I would call the bank to excuse my overdraft fees. Who knows what I'm talking about? I needed to have the unshakable belief then. I needed to believe then that I could, long before there was proof. Because let me tell you guys, there was no proof in those moments. You know what it's like to call your bank up because you open up your account and you got charged for something that you forgot about. And now, guess what? You're negative $30, $40, $50 in your account. And you got things to do. But now you got to call the bank and lie to them and say, hey, I forgot. I didn't know this was going to happen. Can you excuse my overdraft fee? I know I was believing when I was there. I was believing that I was going to be here on tour, traveling the world, doing what I said I was going to do when I was in those situations. When I was broke, when my mom and dad were complaining to me about the bills. Hey, we don't have enough to pay the bills this month. We need you to start working more. I was there. I was believing then. I was believing when I was making phone calls, month after month, week after week, and nobody was joining my business, and my business was stuck. It was stuck. It didn't grow. And all I had was a little $1,000 check a month that was only paying me $250 a week. I was believing then, long before there was proof. That's the key. That is one of the psychological traits that separates high achievers from the rest. But guess what I did, guys? I showed up every day. I built my self-belief. And some of you guys may wonder, well, then how did you build the self-belief? Well, we think of the Bible, right? In the Bible, there's a quote in Proverbs 23, verse 7 that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. We talk about this. What we think about most of the time is what we become. So even though the proof wasn't there, even though the money wasn't in the account, even though I didn't represent the results on the outside, I started to work on myself on the inside. And you know how I did that? I did that through my morning routine. My morning routine is what allowed me to build that unshakable self-belief. I know I talk about this all the time, but the morning routine was the key. Because me waking up every day and aligning myself with my mind, my body, and spirit consistently, 7 days a week, 30 times a month, that builds such an incredible belief in myself. Because think about it, I'm doing it. I'm waking up every day. I say I'm going to wake up at 5:55 and I'm up at 5:55. I'm visualizing. I'm doing my Bible study. I'm reading books. I'm in the gym. I'm writing my goals down. I'm doing all these things in the morning every day consistently. It changed everything for me. Because think about it. I wake up, the first thing I'm tapping in with is the spirit. Prayer, gratitude, Bible study. That's what I'm doing in the first 15 minutes. Think about how powerful that is. Immediately when I wake up, prayer, Bible study, and gratitude. I'm tapping in with the spirit. Then I go to the gym. I'm getting my body in shape, getting a great workout in, which is also working my mind at the same time. And then I come back home, I shower, I eat, and then I do my visualization, I do my reading, I do my journaling, and I listen to my podcast. I'm working on my mind. So before I start my day, I align my mind, my body, and my spirit. You know what that does to somebody's belief in themselves when you're showing up every day for yourself? Forget about business. Forget about your job. Forget about, I don't mean it in a bad, but forget about kids. Forget about family. Forget about everything. The fact that you're showing up for you, because we're good at showing up for others. We show up for our friends. We show up for our family. We show up for our kids. We show up for everybody. But you know what we forget to do? We forget to show up for ourselves. We show up for everybody else, but we forget to show up for ourselves. And we can't lead others if you don't lead yourself. You want to build unshakable belief, unshakable self-belief, you got to work on you. You want to be so confident in your ability, you got to work on you. That's the key to this whole entire thing. If you look at the high achievers of this world, they'll all tell you one of the things that they have is they have unshakable belief. But if you look at their routines, they're the ones that are up the earliest. They're the ones that have the gym memberships. They're the ones that are working out. They're the ones that are doing all the work required in order for them to believe in themselves more, which is important. So number one is unshakable self-belief. That's the first characteristic, the first trait of someone who's a high achiever. Let's go to number two. Number two, the second trait that a high achiever has is they have relentless focus on execution. Relentless focus on execution. You see, ideas are cheap. Execution is rare. Ideas are cheap. Execution is rare. The difference between an average person and an elite person is consistency. All right. The market only rewards those who execute. We've talked about this in the past. Who is executing everything that we say? If you're given a book, are you executing the reading of it? If you know we have mornings with Nano, are you executing that? The ideas. I've been telling you guys for the last 2 weeks, hey, I gave you guys, there was like 2 calls where I told you guys, hey, any ideas, any businesses, any books, anything that you've been hesitating on to do, execute on it. Go execute on it. One of the things that, believe it or not, guys, held me back in my career was my lack of execution. And what do you mean? I had a delayed execution attitude, which meant that I would get ideas, I would have businesses, I would have things that I know I had to do, but I wasn't relentless in my execution. I was always very delayed in my execution. I'd be like, I would overthink it. I would wait till tomorrow. I would wait till next week. I was a very delayed execution type of guy until I realized it and until I realized how much it was costing me. Has anybody ever felt that way as well? Put a 2 in the chat box if you've ever been there, where you're like, yo, Nano, I've also been delayed in my execution as well. Right? It's like one of those things where you got to execute those things. You got to read that book. You got to do that business. You got to make that investment. You got even the gym. It's with everything. Remember, guys, how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if you're delayed with making a decision to go to the gym, think about it, guys, something as simple as you delaying your decision on wanting to go to the gym could delay your decision on starting a business, taking action on an idea. All right. These are all things that we have to become extremely aware of. We all have to become extremely aware of these things. That delay in execution, believe it or not, is what's holding you back from getting you to where you want to go to in life, because we delay too much in our lives. This was something I had to learn, and this was something that held me back for not just months, for years. So if you're on this call right now, I can tell you guys, I wasn't a high achiever at a certain point in my life because of my delayed in execution. I would delay my execution a lot. I would wait weeks, sometimes months, before I executed on something. And you know what would end up happening? Ideas would get lost. Businesses that I could have started get stolen by other people. And then the discouragement comes. Books that I once was going to read never got read. Ideas that I was supposed to take action on never got taken action on. And then they held me back. And then you pay the consequences for it. There was a time, you know what caused me to change that idea was a crypto project, actually. I was supposed to invest into this crypto coin. And obviously investments are always tricky. So, and because I was always an investor and you just never know what's going to hit, a friend of mine told me, yo, I got this project. It's going to be a great project, bro. Just throw a couple $100 into it. It's going to blow up, bro. Just trust me. He comes to me, he tells me this thing, and I'm like, yeah, bro, for sure, and I delayed the execution of it. And a week passed, nothing has happened yet. On the second week, I get a phone call. And mind you, in that 2-week process, he had told me so many times, like, yo, did you get in? Did you get in? And every time, yo, I'm going to get in tonight. I'm going to get in tonight. I'm going to get in tonight. I delayed the process over and over and over again. He calls me after 2 weeks. He's like, yo, bro, please tell me. He calls me like screaming on the phone. Yo, bro, please tell me you got in, bro. Please tell me you got in. And I'm like, nah, bro, I didn't get a chance. He was like, no, Nano, don't tell me that, bro. He was like, bro, the $1,000 investment I made just turned into $25K. And I felt my heart drop. He's like, bro, I'm about to cash out right now. He said, I told you to invest, bro. And you know what's the craziest part? I had the money in my account. And you know what's the even worse part? I needed that money. I needed that money. But because I delayed the execution of just transferring the money over into the account, just because of that, I remember that feeling on the phone. It was almost like you were frozen in the moment because I had the money in the account. And on top of that, I needed that extra money. That whole day, I was, like Femi said, my stomach was hurting. And I realized, I'm like, yo, Nano, You see why your lack of execution is hurting you, bro? Look at that right there. Look at how sick you feel. And I promised myself I never wanted to feel that again. So from that day moving forward, my execution has always been a lot more, how do I call it? It's been a lot more effective. All right. And it's not just because it was a crypto project, right? Yes, it sucked. And look, my lack of execution cost me at least 20,000. You may be like, well, no, it's okay. You catch the next one. Well, you don't always get those opportunities. Believe it or not, those opportunities don't come around often. And look, my lack of execution cost me winning 20K because I was going to invest the same $1,000 that he did. That cost me $20,000. It was one of the hardest lessons I ever had to take. It broke my heart. It was so hard. I almost wanted to ask him, like, yo, please, bro, like, here, like, give me some of that. I almost wanted to beg him, like, yo, bro, please, here, take my $1,000 and at least give me half, bro. I was going to invest, man. I was going to invest, but I just didn't get a chance to get around it. I was so sick to that point because I just was like, I can't believe I missed it. And only if you knew how easy it is to just take your money. All I needed to do was take 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It was that easy, and I didn't do it. All I needed to do was transfer the money from my account into the coin. That's it, easy. That's all I had to do. It would have taken me less than a minute to do it. And because I didn't take the minute, it cost me 20K. Exactly. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. We have to learn the hard way. You know, believe it or not, that happened to me also in the past with businesses. Let me tell you guys something. Look at what happens. Let me tell you another thing, another time where lack of execution didn't work out for me. I went to this networking event and I see this person that I'm like, yo, I want to talk to this guy. This guy seems sharp, but for some reason, my lack of execution to go talk to him doesn't let me. I don't know why. I was just hesitating to go talk to the guy. Mind you, I go to the event with somebody else that is a part of a different industry, still in sales, but they do different type of sales. That guy goes with me. Mind you, he ends up talking to the guy. The guy ends up joining his business and becomes a top sales guy in his business. That was also a hard pill to swallow for me. Now, obviously, I took it from the perspective like, Nano, it was meant to be. He was meant to be a part of that business, etc. But then there's the other side of it that would have been like, yo, that guy could have been a top leader in my business if I would have talked to him. But because I didn't execute on going and introducing myself and sharing with the guy what I did, the person that was next to me did, they executed, they got the results from it. Sometimes that's how it be. That was a terrible pill to swallow. Terrible pill to swallow. Because think about it. That person could have been the guy that joined my business, became a top sales guy in my business and helped me blow up my business. But because I didn't want to, or I had that delayed, it was tough. It was an incredibly hard pill for me to swallow. It was incredible. I've seen it happen. That has happened to me in many circumstances. It's happened to me in business. It's happened to me in investments. It's happened to me with business ideas. It's even happened to me in relationships and everything. It's been there. So you have to understand the importance of execution. So here's my thing for you. What are 3 things today that you can take advantage of and that you need to execute on? Go execute on it. Because high achievers have relentless focus on execution. You got to execute. If you're not executing, that means that you're leaving things on the table. And yes, it happens to everyone. I agree. But we can also stop how much it happens to us. We have to move with urgency. You hear about a great book, buy the book. You hear about a business idea, invest into the business idea. You want to talk to somebody, talk to that person. Nowadays, that's how I live. Those opportunities have those moments have created almost like a positive trauma in my life where I don't want to miss the investment. I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk to somebody. I don't want to miss the opportunity to execute on an idea. I don't want to miss it because of the way that I felt when I missed those opportunities. So relentless focus is number 2. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 is emotional control and self-mastery. Remember, we're talking about the 5 traits of a high achiever. We're talking about the 5 traits of a high achiever. We said number 1, they have unshakable belief. Number 2, they have relentless focus. Number 3 is they have emotional control and self-mastery. A high achiever does not let feelings dictate their actions. They act from principle, not impulse. And what does that mean? Well, today, this morning, you woke up early and you woke up tired. If you have incredible emotional control, even though you're tired, even though you're exhausted, you're going to wake up and do the work. You don't let your feelings dictate your actions. Because if you're tired and you're exhausted, most people would do what? They'll stay in bed. Nah, you know what? I'm tired today. I'm going to stay in bed. The high achiever says, you know what? I'm tired, but I still got to get in the gym. I still got to do my routine. I still got to do the work. That's emotional control right there. Remember, emotional control is not just you dealing with your emotions with people. And when you're dealing with business partners and girlfriends and boyfriends and etc. and having kids, and that's and when people think of emotional control, people think of that. No, emotional control also talks about the control that you have with your own emotions. I woke up, think about it, guys. Yesterday, the whole day we were running on 2 hours of sleep. I was exhausted yesterday. Tired as can be, because guess what? The night before, on Sunday night, we were up till almost 2 in the morning. We had the early flight leaving Orlando at 6 a.m., which means, and we have bags to check. All right, so think about this. We go to sleep at 2, 3 a.m. because we were up late culture day, right? We have a 6 a.m. flight. We have to check in bags, which means we have to be there at 5 o'clock to check in a bag an hour before. We were 45 minutes away from the airport, which means we would have to leave at 4:15 to make it there at 5 o'clock. To make it there at 5 o'clock, which is risky, which means we got to wake up at almost 3:45, 3:30. And I'm on tour with 4 girls. And I'm the only guy. 4 girls, 1 guy. So I'm the one helping with the bags, bringing them down, putting them on the car. So I'm dealing with all of this, right? Think about this. We get there. Thank God for this Uber, man. We end up, listen to this, guys. Listen to this funny story. We fall asleep. We set an alarm. We have an Uber. We schedule the Uber to pick us up at 3:50 in the morning. We think, we get picked up at 3:50, 45 minutes there. We'll have enough time to check in, not rush, etc. Mind you, none of us wake up at 3:50. All right? None of us wake up at 3:50. We all sleep through our alarms. We wake up at 4:25. We wake up at 4:25. Amber calls me. She's calling me. I wake up. I look at the time. I'm like, oh my God, bro. We're gonna miss the flight. Because I'm thinking, we have 45-minute drive there. We all gotta check our bags. We missed the Uber. Like, I'm in my mind, and these girls are all sleeping still. So I'm waking these girls up. We gotta go. And you girls always like to take your sweet ass time. And I'm like, listen to me. I'm screaming at them. Like, we have to go. We order the Uber. The Uber says 6 minutes away. They start getting ready. They're pissed off. Think about what it's like to wake up 4 girls in the middle of the night to tell them, we have to go in 5 minutes. And then the thing is, we are on the second floor. So these girls got heavy ass bags. The Uber arrives. I'm running down, taking my bag. Then I'm coming up, bringing their bags down while they're finishing getting ready. And then we get in the car, and I'm talking to the Uber driver. So I'm talking to the Uber driver as we're doing this, and I'm like, "Yo, look, papi." He was Spanish. I'm like, "Yo, look." I remember telling him, I'm like, "Yo, look. Right now, there's 4 girls that are gonna come down." No, the Uber was a guy, thank God. And I explained to him the situation. I'm like, "Look, we need to get to the airport by 5:05." So I'm telling him, "Yo, we got to get to the airport by 5:05, 5:10 the latest." When we put it into the app, it had us arriving at 5:20. Listen to this. It had us arriving at 5:20, which means that we wouldn't have had time to check in our bags, which means that now I was about to be in an airport with 4 women where we all missed our flights. And now we have to buy other flights, etc., etc., etc. Come in. Hold up, let me open the door for my guy. Listen to this story. You guys are going to love it. So I get there and I'm telling the Uber driver, "Yo, I need you to break the rules today." I was hoping, because certain Uber drivers, they're not down with the whole breaking the rules. I'm like, "Yo, papi, I need you to get me there. I need you to find a way to cut at least 10 to 15 minutes from this ride." Mind you, it's 5 a.m. So the roads are clean. And I'm having this conversation with him. "Yo, please, bro, like, we're not gonna make it." I'm like, and then I'm the leader. So I'm the leader. I'm the one that's gonna have to take the fall for this, right? Because I'm supposed to be the one that wakes them up, etc. So I'm already thinking all of these things. So thank God, boom, we get in the car, and the Uber, thank God for that Uber, bro. The Uber did 100 the whole way there. Like, when I'm telling you guys, he was gone the whole entire time. He got us there literally at exactly 5:05. I've never seen an Uber do so much illegal movements, bro. He was he was swerving through traffic in a minivan. Like this, boom, 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 boom. 100 like this the whole time. The whole time, swerving through traffic. It didn't matter. I was like, "Yo, this," and when I'm looking at the time, every time it keeps going down. It had us arriving at 5:20. Now it's 5:17. And then from 5:17, it's down to 5. Bro, literally, he didn't do nothing less than 95 the whole time. Nothing less than 95 the whole time. And then obviously we was with God, because the whole time I'm in the car and I'm in the front seat in the passenger, and I'm just praying like, "God, please, if it's meant to be, like, make sure that." Yeah, he was Dominican. Yeah, he was actually. He was Dominican and Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. And bro, we're sitting there and he's just flying through this traffic in the morning, bro. Morning traffic. And bro, we get there and I'm literally sweating, like praying to God to leave us, to get us there on time. We arrive, we jump out, we rush, we run, and it's 5:05 on the dot. The flight was at 6:05. So there's the hours right there. So I'm like, and I'm going up to the kiosk and I put in the thing and then I put it in and then boom, it was good still. And I remember that breath of fresh air, man. Whew, that was the best breath of fresh air ever. But you know, we ended up giving him $100 tip. And next thing you know, then we go to the line. As you guys know, the government is closed down. So the lines at the airport are long as can be. Thank God this lady, I guess God came over her and placed her in the right place. She ends up putting us in the TSA pre-check line. So instead of making this long 45 minute line, randomly as we're walking up, the lady said, "Hey, you guys want to come over here?" We were like, "Yeah, of course we want to come over here. We need this." So she puts us in the TSA pre-check line. So instead of making the 45-minute line that was there, which we wouldn't have made our flight, we end up happening to make a 15-minute line. Boom. Now we're in. We do everything. Yo, we arrive at the gate literally with only 5 minutes to spare. We arrived at the gate. Which means that if it wasn't for the Uber and if it wasn't for the lady on the check line, we would have missed the flight, all of us. And instead, we all made the flight. And then we're all on the flight and we're all texting each other in the group chat. We're like, yo, we made it, we made it, we made it. But it was such a phenomenal feeling, though, to have that. Literally, God literally moved away for us. It was absolutely incredible to understand that, right? But guess what? That was tough. And I don't know where I was going with the story, but then we land, and here's the thing about it. We land, we get here to Charlotte. The first place we go to is closed. We go to this breakfast spot, it's closed. So we get there, and the guy's like, yo, none of our system is working. Like the receipts and everything where they take the things is not working. We drove 30 minutes there. I'm like, oh my God, now this. And mind you, remember, check-in is at 3 o'clock. It's 8 a.m. So we over here trooping it with these big bags, all these big bags, walking around Charlotte. And then thank God, he always delivers. Our sister, one of our sisters, her name is Rosie. Her sister works at a hotel here. She's a general manager. Her name is Michelle. And thank God to her. May God bless her. So I think she's on this call. I saw her here earlier. I hope she's still here. She says, yo, we're able to get you guys 2 rooms so that you guys could sleep until check-in. And thank God. She gets us in. Shout out to my sister, Michelle. She hooks us up. She gets us 2 rooms. We're able to go in there. And Rosie, and bro, we get a chance to sleep. But guess what, guys? We were so tired. But you know what? We had to do the work. That's where I was going with it. Going back to what I'm saying, the reason emotional control, even though we were tired, even though we were exhausted, even though we were jet lagged. There she is, Michelle, in the chat, right? Even though we were exhausted, we still found a way to show up. We did trainings. We went. That was my point. Yeah, I'm like, where was I going with this, right? But that was my point, right? Even though we were tired, right? Even though we were exhausted, we still found a way to show up. We still did the culture day with the team. We still found a way to do all of our trainings. We still found a way to do a fire pit and a s'mores night. We still found a way to do everything that we wanted to do, even though we were exhausted, which means that we don't let our feelings dictate our actions. We act from a place of principle, not just impulse. So that was number 3, emotional control. Right now, I know I gave you guys a huge story about it, but in reality, I really wanted to tell you guys that story because that story was pretty cool, actually. And I'm glad that every tour you're gonna have at least that one story, right? That is, you're gonna talk about it. Like, yo, you remember when we woke up and we almost missed our flights? It's just one of those stories. But the purpose of it is I wanted you guys to understand emotional control. That even though all 5 of us, even though we were all exhausted, we still found a way to show up, do a training, do a culture day. We went bowling. We did everything that we said we were going to do, regardless of the fact that we were on literally less than 3 hours of sleep. We were delusional. We were surviving on coffee and energy drinks and literally pushing all the way through. But why? Because of our principles. Our principles. It didn't matter how tired we were. We have individuals like my brother Alan, who's here right now, that he came here to get poured into. So what if we would have said, yo, you know what, we're going to cancel because we're tired and we're just going to sleep in and I'll see you guys at the event tomorrow. That wouldn't have been a good look on our part. So emotional control is key. All right. Number 4, we're going over the 5 traits of high achievers. I'm going to go over these last 2 very fast. Number 4 is that they have a growth mindset. High achievers have a growth mindset. Nano, what do you mean by that? They look at everything that happens in their life as a lesson. Every failure in their life is a lesson. To high achievers, failure isn't final, it's feedback. High achievers say, yo, what is this teaching me? Instead of saying, well, why me? They say, what is this teaching me? They look at everything as a lesson. Everything is teaching them something. Yesterday, that whole experience taught me something. As funny as it was, as amazing as it was, I learned a lot of lessons from it, to be honest. Right? One lesson I learned is just, Nano, you should have stayed up. Instead of going to sleep for that 1 hour that you slept for, you should have just stayed up. Because I realized that if you're really tired, not even alarms will wake you up, bro. Bro, I had 3 alarms and I slept through all 3 of them. I learned, Nano, you should just stay up at the end of the day. Right? But you know what I also learned? That God is really on our side. God was really on our side, because honestly, when I woke up, in my mind, we didn't make it. In my mind, there's no way we were going to make it, but we did, right? But it's not just that. It's just everything in life. Everything in life that happens to us, we want to look at it from the perspective that is all there to help us grow. So right now, if you are a high achiever, you're looking at everything that is happening in your life, every challenge, every obstacle, every failure, every tough moment that you're dealing with right now in life is for your growth. If you're a high achiever, that's how you look at it. Remember, we're talking about psychological traits. For your thinking, you have to think, yo, this is here to make me better. This is here to help me grow, to help me become a better version of myself. Right? James 1:2 says it. James 1:2-3. I'm sorry, James 1 verses 2-4 says it. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds. It says it in the Bible. Find happiness, find joy in the lessons, guys. As a matter of fact, we should be seeking challenges daily. I remember my mentor once told me, he said, I asked him, I was like, yo, why do you think I haven't succeeded up until this very moment? He said, you haven't failed enough. The only reason I'm here and you're there is because I failed more than you. I'm not scared to fail. I'm like, damn, that's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting perspective. I have failed more than you. And in reality, guys, there's no difference between me and you on this call. Some of us on this call, the only reason that I'm in the position that I'm in is just because I failed more than you guys. And I've overcame those failures a lot more. So number 4 is having the growth mindset. And then last but not least, number 5. So remember, I'm going over the 5 psychological traits that separates high achievers from the rest. We said number 1 was unshakable self-belief. We said number 2 was relentless focus on execution. Number 3 was emotional control and self-mastery. Number 4 is the growth mindset. And then last but not least, number 5 is vision-driven discipline. Vision-driven discipline. High achievers, they live from vision, not from circumstances. They know exactly where they're going, even when the path isn't clear. They have vision-driven discipline. You know how powerful that is to have vision-driven discipline, that no matter what circumstances are happening, you know you got a vision to complete. I have a vision to complete. That's why I'm here every day. Every day I'm here. Every day I'm on the road. Guys, I live at least 5 or 6 months out of the year, I'm on the road. Because I'm not going to be able to always do this. One day I'm going to have kids, I'm going to have families, etc. So I'm not always going to be able to do this. But in the meantime, while I can, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run the play. I'm going to do what's required. I'm going to pour into you guys as much as I can. Every day, every day, every day, every day. I have vision-driven discipline. You need that. You need vision-driven discipline, guys. That regardless of what is happening, you do the work. You show up. You do what's required. Because it's not just about you. It's about others. What impact are you making? What example are you leaving behind? That's the key. Vision-driven discipline. And when you can understand that, a lot of things can change for you guys. A lot of things can change for you guys. And you want to have that vision-driven discipline in all areas of your life. With your personal life, right? With your physical life, when you're seeing the vision that you want to be at the best version of you when it comes to your body. On the spiritual side, when it comes to your relationship with God, being righteous, being obedient, your emotions, your finances, your family. You want to have vision-driven discipline in all areas of your life. You know how powerful that's going to be when we all have vision-driven discipline, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all areas. That's the key. That's where we want to get to. So if in 2026, your goal is to be a high achiever, these are the 5 traits that you need. You need, number 1, you need an unshakable self-belief. Number 2, you need a relentless focus on execution. Number 3, you need incredible emotional control and self-mastery. Number 4, you need a growth mindset, which means you see everything as a lesson and not as failure. And then number 5, you have vision-driven discipline, which is very important. All right, guys, those are the 5 traits of a high achiever. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to identify out of the 5, which ones you have, which ones you don't have, and which ones you need to develop more of. I want you to identify that. What do you have? What do you don't have, and which ones you have to develop more of? So, for example, number 1, all right, number 1, do you have unshakable self-belief? Is that a check? Is it something you're developing, or is it something you don't have? Same thing. Number 2, where are you at with relentless focus on execution? All right. Or do you have it? Are you working on it, or you don't have it? Right. So, for example, just to give you guys an example, I have unshakable self-belief. That's a check for me. Relentless focus on execution, I'm still working on that. All right. I'm still working on my relentless focus on execution. I'm still working on my emotional control and self-mastery. Growth mindset I have, and I'm still working on my discipline as well, my vision-driven discipline. I wouldn't say I got it all the way, but I'm working on it. So out of the 5, all right, I have 2 that I know for a fact I got, which is unshakable self-belief and a growth mindset. The other 3, I'm still working on them constantly every single day. So I wouldn't call myself a perfect high achiever that has all of these down to the T, but I'm getting there. And that's my goal. Because it takes time. Exactly. You have to believe long before. These are things that takes time to develop, time to work on. But there's 2 that I'm very confident on, which is my self-belief and my growth mindset. That I know I can check off confidently. I can't do the same for the other 3 though. I can't say yet, but I'm getting there and I'm working on it every day towards that. All right, guys. So those are the 5 traits of a high achiever. Give me some 5 in the chat box if that was clear for everybody. I know I've been gone. I know usually I do on Tuesdays. I like to do usually some little Bible studies, but because I was gone, I'll catch up on it. Maybe we'll do some of that more tomorrow. All right. But with that being said, that does wrap up today's call. All right. I'm very, very grateful that you guys took the time to jump on this morning call. This one was a good one. This was a good one. I'm glad it was a fun and powerful call for sure. Love telling you guys the stories and kind of fill you guys in, because I don't get a chance to really share those with anybody else outside of the team. So it's good for you guys to hear about like what happens out like in between the stories, right? The little things, right? But it was a phenomenal experience. I love touring with my sisters. They're all so amazing. I'm super grateful to be touring with some of the best people ever in the world, and they truly are one of a kind for sure to be touring with them. So extremely grateful, and I'm looking forward to more experiences with the next couple of days that we have. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your days. Like I said, guys, tomorrow I am traveling, so I won't be here tomorrow, but we will be back on Thursday. So on tomorrow, I am traveling early morning. We have another flight tomorrow morning. Same idea, 3, 4 in the morning. We have to wake up. But tomorrow, I'm literally not going to miss my alarm. Like, there's no chance. I don't want to go through that scare. I don't want to be in a car going 100 again back to the airport. So I'm going to make sure that we wake up even earlier. And even if it means I don't have to sleep, I'm going to make sure we do that, all right? So that way we can do it. But we got an early flight tomorrow as well. But I appreciate you guys. Pray for us today. We have a big event here in Charlotte, and it's going to be something that we really need. We have a big event and I'm excited to see how it shows up. All right, guys. So let me see right here. Can you also pray for my friend Ray? I hope I'm saying that right. I'll pray for Ray for sure. And let's get it rocking, guys. Quick prayer, and we'll end it right there. All right, quick prayer. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We are also blessed and grateful for everything that you are teaching us, the way that you're guiding us, and the way that you're making us aware of all the information and all the things that we need to do to become better versions of ourselves. We are committed to growing. We are committed to staying disciplined. We are committed to mastering our emotions and just making sure that everything that we do is doing it to make sure that we serve you, God, and that we are becoming examples of the kingdom, God. I also want to pray for one of our community friends. Her name is Ray. She got into a bad car accident. We pray that you put your healing hand over her and that you guide her through this tough time, and that everything that she went through was to avoid anything else in the future for her, and that you continue to put your healing hand over her or anyone that is on the call today that needs that healing hand, or anyone that needs it for their families as well, God. We pray that you're there for them during these tough times. We know that you Lord, you heal the brokenhearted and that you guide them through these processes. So we thank you for everything that you're doing for our community. We love you so much. We appreciate you, and everything that we do is for your praise and for your glory. In God's name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. All right, guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to elevate. I will see you guys again on Thursday. On Thursday, I will see you guys again. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to elevate. And with that being said, have a beautiful rest of the day. I'll see you guys again Thursday. God bless. Thank you, everybody.